Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network, heard across the USA and on your favorite podcast channel. And the month of June, for those of you that have been listening to us, we are very grateful. And one of the things that we've been talking about this month is called crossroads and transitions. You know, for me, I think one of the most difficult part of aging is that not knowing what lies up ahead, but thinking about how can we position ourselves in our later life years so that when these crossroads, these transitions, things happen, we're in the best position to embrace change. And, you know, I reached out and I thought, who in the world is the best person that I know that can talk to families, that has had this conversation to help them a million times over? And that is my amazing friend, Daphne Davis, president of Pinnacle Senior Placements. And she is an amazing friend. Daphne, I'm so glad to have you back on Answers for Elders.
Well, I have to say, I'm excited to be here too. I've missed being here.
We have missed you so much. And for those Seattle listeners, little story, I've been in a couple of stores at times, and I'll say my name and Answers for Elders, and they go, "You're the Suzanne on the radio." And this one lady said to me, she goes, "I watch you every week, and my favorite is Daphne." And, you know, I think that shows just how your heart, how much you care about people and what you do. And so Daphne, I really am grateful that you're here to talk about, we're going to talk about the theme here is having that conversation. And I think that is such a difficult roadblock ahead. What is your experience, Daphne? And you know, what happens at that time when people are thinking, wow, I'm not sure, but mom and dad might need some help?
Yeah. You know, I have to talk before pandemic and after pandemic. And yes, that was 4 years ago, but it was so catastrophic for our elders in terms of the quality of life and the discovery of what kind of care really was happening and available for our elders. And so it's post-pandemic. What I'm seeing is that families are really trying hard to have their loved ones stay at home for as long as they possibly can. And I think that comes from a number of places. One, definitely respect to their wishes. No one wants to leave their home.
No.
There's no place better than home. And we're going to figure out how to make that work. But I think there's another piece that's happened, and that's in terms of having trust. And knowing who can you trust to help you navigate this whole world of care outside of your home.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's really hard. And so I think there's been a number of things kind of revealed organically of what really happens when I, the daughter or son, am not involved in my mom's daily care.
Right.
And so when we were back in that pandemic time, we got to see what it's like to rely on a caregiver who's taking care of 15 to 25 people.
Yeah.
And so we got scared.
Yeah.
And we said, oh my gosh, I can do this. I know I can do it. And so it really has shifted. And right now, I'll just start with this place, and it's kind of the end of the story instead of the beginning, but we're waiting way too long to give support to our elders. I'm just going to say it. It's hard to hear. Having a Band-Aid to the care, professional care of what your family may need is not helpful on many levels.
No.
One, the quality of life for your parent, but I'll just generically say parent today.
Yeah.
But one, the quality of life for your parent and their ability to have a quality life every month of their life. It should never decline. It will change.
Sure.
But it shouldn't decline to a place of unhappiness.
Right.
And there are ways to keep it happy, even though it's going to change. The other piece that I've seen is that families are really at odds with each other. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I have never had such dissension within families and not be able to help them get on the same page. that tells me we have a lot of stress.
Mhm. And a lot
Everybody's
of
stressed.
misunderstandings about what care means, what senior living means, what adult family homes mean. There's all kinds of options that families don't even know about. Isn't that
That's right.
correct?
That's exactly right. And knowing that every place in the United States has a different kind of system. Each state has different offerings. And so it's really important for our consumers, you, the families, to be able to connect to somebody who can help you navigate within your own state system.
Exactly.
And so that's very important because what we can do in Washington doesn't happen in New York.
No.
It's different. And so it's really important to plug into somebody locally to help you through this.
Well,
Um,
and Daphne, what you're saying too is so many families are dispersed and living outside the state or in distance from mom and dad. Mom and dad stay in the hometown, and then what happens is maybe son or daughter come to visit, maybe every couple months, but they still don't see the decline. They don't understand. They don't understand what the signs are, and so. How many times do I hear from people say, oh, yeah, mom lives back in Oregon in my hometown. She's just fine. She's 89 years old. And I'm going like, wow, okay. How long often do you get to visit? Oh, I get down there probably about once or twice a year. I'm just going like, okay.
and so you really don't know what's happening in mom's daily
No,
life.
no.
Just yesterday, not stretching the truth. Just yesterday, I got a phone call from a gentleman whose mom is in Seattle and he wants to move her down to San Diego area. And they were in place to do that. A San Diego local placement agent was helping him and figuring this out. And then we've discovered that, and mom's still in her own home, but she has a couple of wounds. And so those wounds need to get healed. And they're, for various reasons, we can get skin tears or whatnot, or pressure ulcers, but she can't move yet.
No.
And so he calls me and he says, so and so gave me your name down in San Diego because you're in Seattle. Can you help me find respite care for my mom so that we can get her wounds healed and then move her down here? So, and the son very wisely said, I waited too long.
Yeah.
I listened. I wanted to honor my mom's wishes. And now we have this health issue. I mean, wounds are not easy to heal and she's 89.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect example of that distant child. Mom is rallying up and says, I got it, I got it, I got it. I won't go down the
Well,
stairs.
and it's pride. It's pride because they don't want to bother their children. They never, and I remember when I was taking care of my mom, I walked in when she was in senior living, but all of a sudden her skin was just like gray. And she goes, my chest hurts. And I just panicked and I ran and got the nurse. I go, Mom, why didn't you not call me? Or it's been like this all morning. And I'm going like, Mother. And so she ended up having a heart attack. We had to take her to the hospital. And she was like, well, I didn't want to disturb you. I was like, Mom, this is what happens.
It is what happens. And so we're in a time right now for families deciding when to have that conversation. It's a conversation that should happen well before you have to have the conversation. So my recommendation to families is be open about the aging process. Embrace it.
Yeah.
Don't have it be the white elephant in the room that nobody's going to talk about, but have it be, oh, someday, Dad, you might be having to have a walker because those legs are just not
Exactly.
doing what you want them to do. Oh, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's light and humorous.
Don't fuss over
Probably is
me.
fine.
Don't
Yeah.
leave me alone. I don't want to be made a fuss over. I've heard so many conversations. So
Yeah.
Daphne, tell our listeners about Pinnacle Senior Placements and how you help families.
So Pinnacle Senior Placements is a placement agency. We've been in existence since 2015, I think. I've been doing this job for 25 years. And what we do is we walk alongside families. You call me up and you say, I need help with my mom or dad. They're showing signs of not being able to cognitively take care of themselves or physically take care of themselves. And then I start the process of developing what are your highest values. And we talk to your mom or dad as well. And then the next step is I do research, and then we go out and we look at communities of care together, and we talk about the pluses and the minuses. And then the next step as we help you through the transition of a move.
And your services are absolutely free.
Absolutely. So we are paid like a realtor in
Yeah.
in reality, it's
Yeah.
a one-time commission fee. And but we work with all communities. Pinnacle does anyway. We work with all communities within the state of Washington. There is no downside to choosing to work with us. You just have someone walking alongside with you and answering and thinking of questions.
And Daphne and I, we're going to be right back right after this.
We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.